G'day reefers, I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Welcome to Gallery Aquatica TV. Today is the day. Today is the big one for the SPS Mothership. We're going to finally fill it with water. Now this tank is 7,000 litres big. It is a massive tank, and so filling it is quite an epic journey. We're going to show you every step of the way on how we fill the SPS Mothership. So here we are on the sunny Gold Coast at the peak of the high tide. Now, that is one of the most important aspects of collecting natural seawater. We always collect on the high tide or just before it. And you can see behind me, we have our water truck. We've got a capacity of 6,000 litres for the truck. And we also have our trailer, which has got a capacity of 2,000 litres. So today we're going to be collecting 8,000 litres, and that's important because the SPS Mothership is 7,000 litres. Now, we've specifically chosen today as the time to collect because it is a particularly big high tide. We've had really good weather lately, so we know that the natural seawater is particularly clean and beautiful. We've also done an ICP test recently, so we can confirm that the water is great. So what we're doing now, we're pumping using the generator and our pool pump, pumping from the ocean off the rock wall, which makes it very easy to avoid sucking up sand and detritus. And it's being pumped through our pool pump into our water tank, being filtered through our filter sock as we go. Well, it's definitely full, so it's time for us to turn off the pump and to pack up all the gear and then head back to Brisbane to fill up the SPS Mothership. So that's our filter sock, and it just had 8,000 litres pass through it. And it's really not too dirty. Just shows you how good the water is here, especially on these big high tides. So there you go, we've got our water, and we're going to jump in the truck and go back to Brisbane. Here we are at the SPS Mothership, and as you can see, we've got a largely empty tank. We've got to fill it up today. We've had some water in it just to leak test it, and it's all good to go. We're halfway through our lighting. We've got the plumbing done, but today it's all about filling the tank and hooking up the return pump. So let's get our hoses and we'll start to fill up the SPS Mothership. We're using 2 pumps to pump the water from our water tanks into the SPS Mothership. So this is the big one. This is the one that we were using to collect our natural seawater. It's connected straight to the ball valve and the cam locks at the bottom of the water tank here. It's 40 mil, and so this is the one that's going to bring the bulk of the water in. But we do have a second pump. It's a little bit smaller, and it's on the tank over here. This is our little Davy, and we run this on 25 mil hose, and we're currently using this to pump into the sump. And we're doing that just because it's easier. This is a small amount of water. We don't need the big pump. And we're going to pump into the sump specifically so we can show you the next pump, the pump that's running the SPS Mothership. This is the pump that's going to be running the SPS Mothership. Now, it feeds in from the sump, our IBC here, and we've got a soft 40 mil hose, similar to what we're filling the Mothership with, that runs behind the back of the SPS Mothership and comes out just here. Now, this is a temporary return line. We're going to hard plumb it in the future, but for now, we've just got the single nozzle. In the future, it'll be twin nozzles, but we're going to turn it on to show you the power of our return pump for the SPS Mothership. That's the eco mode. And this is full power. Now, we probably won't run it full power like this. We'll probably have it on the eco mode, but you can see it's a huge amount of water, and we're gonna have an excellent turnover rate on the SPS Mothership. Well, here we go. We have the SPS Mothership finally commissioned, and everything has gone very smoothly. You can see our return pump, which is in the lowest of its 3 flow rates on eco, is doing very well. We've got a really strong rippling at the surface. So much so, I would argue that it's a little bit more than what we want. And I think that when we do the permanent plumbing, hard plumbed around the back, and it's split into 2, it'll probably be a bit more appropriate for the size and the dimensions of the tank. But for now, I am very, very happy. And it's exciting to see this tank finally up and running. It feels like forever that we first started the concept of the SPS Mothership. The next stage is going to be to basically put our livestock in and ensure that we've got the bacterial populations, that we have water chemistry that's going to sustain the fish and corals as we slowly introduce them. So that's really going to be the fun part. We have big plans to put some of the fish that we have in the fish room here into the SPS Mothership, and that will probably be the topic of the next video on this awesome system. So that's it for today's episode of the SPS Mothership. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing! That's it for this week's episode of Gallery Aquatica TV. Don't forget to like and comment on all our videos and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned to Gallery Aquatica TV for more exciting episodes to come. I'm Cam the Fish Guy. Happy reefing!